Hey, before I get started talking about my dad, there's a few people that couldn't be here today. So I'm kind of gonna, they wrote some memories that they had of my father. So I'm just gonna read them. First one's from Scott Soder, saying that he's sorry that he couldn't make it to the induction. Like the song says, only the good die young. Don was my role model. He was the best of everything. Sorry. Don wasn't just an excellent bowler, he was also a master of the obvious. Many years ago, I was invited to bowl with Don, Steve Jansen, and the guys on the Northwoods Traveling League. That meant I got to compete with the best bowlers around the area, the big guys. I rode with Don and Sharon, everybody, we all called her Mom, to the first match in Rhinelander. I was scared to death. I told Don I was afraid I might embarrass myself by throwing a gutter ball or something and asked what I should do. He said, "Oh, that's easy." I was about to hear his years of experience taught him in handling stressful situations. He said, "Don't throw a gutter ball." My next thing is a memory from Gary Schenzel. He said, "Hello to all of you who are here to celebrate the bowling career of some of our longtime friends at Eagle Lanes. My name is Gary Schenzel. I bowled with Don Tess for 10 years from 1986 through April of 1996 in Eagle River. I lived in Hazelhurst on Highway 51, exactly 33 miles one way from the lanes. Every Thursday for 8 months and for 10 years, I looked forward to the 66-mile trip because of who I was bowling with. Doc Grenben, Byron McNutt, Don Bolte, Dave the real estate salesman, and of course, bowling for Tom Reddick Well Drilling, our team sponsor for most of the years. I was already committed to bowling a few nights a week at Minocqua Island City Lanes and Woodruff County Lanes. So why go to Eagle River? Well, Don Tess was the reason. You see, Don and I knew each other 25, 26, 27 years, and I knew each other in Milwaukee. We were teenage bowlers at the time, 14, 15, 16 years old, but have achieved some notoriety, bowling in men's leagues and putting up good scores. In 1959, I was very proud to have become the youngest bowler at 15 years old to be named a full-time member of the Donaldson Oldsmobile team in the newly formed Masters Traveling League of Friday nights in southeast Wisconsin, which were some of the best bowlers in the Milwaukee's best league. What an experience, a different house to bowl at each Friday night and switch lanes after every game, never to hit the same particular lane twice. Just 1 year later, I went on to college and Don, who was making his own mark with high scores, kept on bowling in the metro Milwaukee area. I quit bowling for a solid 25 years, so in 1986, a lucky chance to once again bowl with Don Tess was a no-brainer. I loved it. You see, Don Tess was special. We all knew Don could bowl, of course, but the real attraction was I like his bowling personality and character. Always said and did the right things on the lanes. Let me say that again. He never misspoke or acted badly on a rigging 10-pin or a stone cold 7 or a solid 8-pin 10. He never criticized fellow teammates if they bowled badly. He always had proper lane etiquette, a friendly smile, a pleasant demeanor, and a whole lot of fun every Thursday night for me. I only missed 2 Thursdays in Eagle River over these 10 years. One was because on September 12, 1991, I caught a near 30-pound, 49-inch muskie late afternoon, and I decided to stay at home to start working on it. You see, I've been a taxidermist in Hazelhurst for the last 43 years. The second time was in April, a couple years later, when the fog was so thick, highway driving was dangerous. Don candidly would remind me later to get my priorities straight when it came to bowling matters. Well, in summary, it was a decade of the best bowling memories that I had. My dad, who was also an avid bowler in Merrill, where he grew up, and in Milwaukee, and as a senior in Rhinelander, passed away on June 22nd, 2007. Don Tess passed shortly thereafter the following month. Both knew each other and had mutual respect. Don and I left the team in April 1996. I quit again at the time. For the past 23 years, I have not touched a bowling ball. So spanning 60 years from 1959 to 2019, I started with Don Tess. I ended my bowling career with Don Tess, and can't do any better than that. Thank you, Don, for all the fun and memories. Gary Schenzel. So, first, I'd like to thank Steve for the kind words on my father's behalf. This is a special moment, and I feel privileged to be here speaking on my father's behalf. First off, I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Induction Committee for recognizing recognizing Don's bowling accomplishments. My father would be very humbled in receiving this award if he were still with us today. I also want to congratulate the other inductee, Steve. We've been together for a long time, as he's always been there for me during my bowling career, as well as bowling with my father. On January 11th, 1943, Don Tess was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Don would start bowling at the age of 11 in his hometown. During his time in Milwaukee, he would work at a bowling alley, where he would bowl a 300 at the age of 18 after Dick Schwartington, age 20, who threw a 299, even though it was only practice. This obviously would be the beginning of a great bowling career that would last for over 4 decades. Don would be one of the top 5 bowlers in the Milwaukee area in the late 50s and 60s. He would bowl in many tournaments around the U.S. What would be the highlight of his young career would be winning the Milwaukee Journal State Match Bowling Championship of 1967 at the age of 24. He was a first-time finalist, and he would beat the 3-time champion Jimmy Miller in 7 games. Miller would win the first 2 games, 276 to 193 and 215 to 176. Don would then counter with a 225, 190 to break the ice for his first win of the match. Miller would then win his 3rd game, 226 to 203. Don strategically stayed alive with a 206 to 204 victory. Don would then tie the match with a thrilling 263 to 258 win. This would set the stage for Game 7, where Don would win the championship against Miller with a 209, 192 victory. The following year, Don and Sharon Tess would move to Eagle River in 1968. Don bowled at Vilas Recreation Lanes, owned by Joe Richards, located under what is now the Vilas Cinema. Eventually, Don and Steve Jansen would start the move from underneath the theater to what is now Eagle Lanes in 1978. During this time, Don started working at Eagle Lanes, where he became not only a friend to the community, but also a legacy. A true born bowler. This brings me to a memory provided by Byron McNutt about my father. Without a doubt, Don Tess made a difference. His name and reputation stood for character, integrity, and excellence. He is clearly remembered as a legend in the history of league bowling at the lanes in Vilas and Oneida counties, especially in Eagle River, Minocqua, Woodruff, and Rhinelander. What may have amazed us all the most was his uncanny ability to start a game on lanes 1 and 2 by rolling 4 strikes, get called to reset pins on lane 4, replace a belt on lane 7, kick a stuck ball on lane 11, then come back to lanes 1 and 2 and throw another 3 strikes without losing his focus and concentration. I know it's true because I saw it done 100 times. Don was dedicated to the sport of bowling. Eagle Lanes was his second home. He was always willing to work with anyone wanting his advice. He was a valued teammate and even a better friend. For many bowlers of every skill level, Don was often the first person they met when they joined the league. He was highly respected and was the reason many bowlers patronized the sport. I can't think of two more deserving Hall of Fame honorees than Don Tess and Steve Jansen. One of the most memorable days was on November 2nd, 1981. Don and Sharon welcomed their only son and their perfect child, myself. What makes this even more memorable was the fact that my dad bowled a triplet 242 that night. The community and bowling family should know his accomplishment. It is a feat and the highest honor to bowl the same 3 games, but also an amazing 242. Don would throw over 100 high honor counts, rolls, but ultimately the 300 game was still eluding him. On December 15th, 1992, he would come close, throwing a 299, in which a 4-pin stood in the way of perfection on that night. But that soon would change. On January 14th, 1993, Don would throw his first sanctioned 300, just days after his 50th birthday. I remember this day as we had literally just walked into the bowling alley right after my dad had thrown the 300. It was a special moment that I was glad I could be there for and will always hold closely in my memories. He would finish the night with a 690 series. The other major feat Don had not yet accomplished was an 800 series. He couldn't have picked a better time winning on February 6, 1999 at Schwabagon Lanes in Green Bay. In the team event for the state bowling tournament, he would bowl an 803 with games of 279, 266, and 258. I remember that year very vividly, as my dad was a true champion. He entered many tournaments in the area and was either winning them or placing in the top 3. Another great accomplishment my father succeeded in was the Friday Night Traveling League. The league bowled at area houses such as Rhinelander, Woodruff, Island City and Minocqua, and Tomahawk. These bowlers, in my opinion, were some of the best bowlers in the area. I was able and privileged to watch every week when I wasn't playing video games. For his team to win the league 4 straight years in a row was a tough feat to do, and those members of that team are here today. Steve Jansen, Phil Amstead, and unfortunately Steve Van Aker is the other member of the team who is not here today. Thank you for all those amazing memories. The most important thing was how thankful he was to have his wife by his side through it all. All the late nights at the bowling alleys and the long drives home on Friday nights. He couldn't have done it without her. I would like to thank my dad for allowing me to take along on those late nights to watch him bowl. Dad, you have made me the bowler I am today. I will hold your memories in my heart forever. I am the bowler I am today because of your love, kindness, and understanding. This event today shows the respect, impact, and legacy you had as a bowler. I say this not only as your son, but as a true admirer. You are greatly missed and truly one of the great ones. Thank you.